It's paper time.
Yep. Not bad today. It's kind of pretty.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep, it's feels very reasonable out here right now. Good morning. Yeah, Slate's in there, so they're I think Grace figured that out. You know, sometimes in the morning they give chase just for fun. No mail?
No mail. It was awful empty sound in the mailbox when I opened it up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't like it when I don't have something in there for my sweetie.
Yeah, more Lego parts would have been appreciated, but I wasn't expecting them on a Sunday.
So, just met the Amazon guy, a nice young man.
Sunday early afternoon.
Yeah, he was wearing a mask, and he was wearing an Amazon uniform, but he was in a rental van, which is fine. I have no problem. But the thing is, he said today was the second day. So he's just learning. And he said that the app that he was using, that Amazon provided, had us on that street over there.
Huh.
Which is Creek Buffs. And if you were to drop a pin on our house, it would tell you it's on Creek Buff.
Sure.
Because we're actually closer to that street than we are
our street. Yeah.
So he said he had to switch to use to his personal phone using
Maps.
To get, which will get you, if you put in
yeah, that's street, accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, it will take you to our driveway entrance, and then maybe you would come down here.
Maybe you would.
So I don't know, you know, to get into it anything like that, but he said, yeah, you know, he's happy, having, you know, out there doing and getting used to everything, and he lives in North Raleigh. Commented on the driveway. He said, yeah, that was some kind of a hill. And I said, yeah. He said, but it's fun in snow and ice. I said, I wouldn't know. I don't go down it.
Yeah, it's pretty much our thing. Yeah.
Pretty much trapped.
Well, we have not seen a UPS or a FedEx truck since we had the first Amazon van show up.
Oh, it's been very, that's
It's
right.
been 10 days, 7 to 10 days
that's
now,
right.
and not one UPS or FedEx. So when they were serious about cutting over here, they cut over.
Right. Well, now that guy, of course, he says he lives in North Raleigh, and this is South Wake County. That's North Wake County, and we're south.
Yeah, that's 45 minutes potentially.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's really where was his. I didn't think to ask where his hub was.
Right.
I don't think they're working. He's working out of Garner yet. I'm sure. I would, from what I read in the paper, or online somewhere. Amazon's like putting thousands of little mini hubs or transportation places all over the place.
Right, that's what we had that first driver implied, but you're right, neither one of us has asked quite the question, and exactly where is that? So that's our future question, Donnie.
Yeah.
You be right on that and ask him, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. I think one of these is cat food.
Oh yeah, I didn't have the heart guy say, yeah, you're just delivering cat food, guy. Don't feel so, you know.
Well, I don't know what's in the other
It's not
packet.
life-saving medicine.
Right, exactly. I think that other one might be the DVD I ordered.
Yes, I think that is the DVD.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. Anyway, thanks for going and getting the package. So yesterday, Dawn had a great conversation with our friend Andy.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, if these guys would have let me zoom them and put that on the channel, y'all would have loved. You might not have understood all of the battery stuff, but you would have loved listening to the conversation, because I was doing my Lego thing and they were talking in the background, and I could, you know, when somebody talks on a cell phone, a lot of time you can hear what they're saying to the person that they're talking to. And anyway, I thought lost opportunity. And then Dawn and I were talking this morning about the e-tron. And again, we should have gone in the studio and set up the lights and talked, because I think you guys would have legitimately been interested in what we were saying this morning. Right. So that was another lost opportunity.
Right.
So I haven't told Don where I'm going with this.
Oh.
I often don't give him a lot of clue. I just sort of...
Stand there and I'll explain.
Right. Well, we've worked together, then, you know, been married, lived together, been married. I mean, I just don't have to do a lot of explaining with Don, but He didn't know yesterday that when him and Andy were talking, I was taking a couple of notes on my computer for things that I wanted to bring up with him about what I overheard. And I should have started doing it sooner because there were a lot of good nuggets in there. But one of the things I heard you say was, what master plan are we supposed to be on now? Are we on 1, 2, 3?
Duo, yeah.
Duo.
But it's all but done except for the mass transit part, I think.
Right. Well, I heard Don make a comment to Andy yesterday that there is no need for any other master plan now except batteries.
That's the only master plan.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit. Try to remember what you said and re-say it.
Yeah, Andy and I, we shared what we thought, and then what we thought about what other, like Sandy Monroe had said. Anyway, back to what Marian's point is, the future is batteries. I mean, for the renewable, for us to
mass transit,
the grid, everything. It's all about cost, and costs are all about the battery. In other words, Andy, and I totally agree, an electric motor is 90% efficient. I mean, been 90% efficient for the last 100 years. And oh, by the way, in the last 10 years, we bumped that efficiency up to like 95%. So even if we do another 10 years and we get it up to 100%, it isn't going to make, we're already 90% there. So all the development, all the breakthroughs aren't going to be in better inverters, maybe the cheaper, but not significantly better. So batteries is where we need significant more capacity. The cost need to come down. The size needs all the efforts that what we need to improve, just like the memory chips in computers, they constantly were putting more memory on the same chip. And now that you can't even hold the memory chips, they're so small.
And they've got more memory.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, it's those developments are all batteries. So everything that Elon is working now in his master plan is to solve the battery. Well, we call it the storage problem.
Yeah.
The energy storage problem. That's the problem. We can generate lots of energy. We've got other solutions, but between evening out the peaks, because I told Andy I was in a conference that the planner said, we love our electric buses. It was some city, South Carolina, or it was in our southeast region here. They love their 6 electric buses. Thought they were the greatest thing since sliced bread. Called up and wanted to order more. And they were checking into their charging. And the local utility says, no, it's going to be like $500,000 or some ungodly amount of money to add additional charging capability to that location as your bus depot, because we had the capacity, existing capacity on our existing infrastructure, electrical power distribution infrastructure, to handle you putting in a couple fast chargers. But if you want to put in that many more, we're going to have to upgrade everything from you all the way back to the substation.
The service.
And we're not going to do that unless you pay for it. So that killed their expansion needs. Well, as Andy pointed out, if that bus terminal could have basically a second set of batteries, the same, of effectively the equivalent size of the batteries that are currently in their buses, literally almost a 1-for-1, they could charge up the batteries. It's sort of like the water tower. They have a pump at the bottom of that water tower. It's running at the same speed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It does not vary its speed. It pumps ever how many gallons of water it pumps into that great big storage tank up on 150 feet in the air. And the demand gets handled by the gravity feed caused of that storage tank, that water storage. That's what we're going to have to do to avoid some of these horrendous costs. The power company is going to be these demand charges that they're charging. They're going to go up because unless they add more capacity or more peaker plants, and nobody wants them to do that. The only way that they can slow peak demand is to charge more money. So that's going to make battery buffering for even just nothing to do with electric cars. Just you might get a power wall just so your peak demand at your home doesn't go over 5 kilowatts an hour. I don't know what it would be, but we're going to find out, I think, over the next few years. And so that was some of the things that Andy and I had talked about.
Yeah, I specifically heard Don say we just need one item on the master plan now, and that's batteries. Because if we fix the battery problem, Don said, then mass transit's fixed, batteries, storing for peak use is fixed. All, the volume of cars we need is fixed. All these other things are fixed if we fix the battery problem. So we don't need a really detailed plan because it'll all fall into place, Don said, once we fix the battery problem.
Right.
Or the battery supply, I don't know, problem, but the quantity and price get to where we need them to be.
Right. It's just like the computer chips. I mean, now you're carrying around a cell phone that has, more computing power than NASA,
they went to the moon with,
or whatever this story is.
By a lot.
Well, it's the same thing with the battery. What if you carried around a cell phone that you don't even charge?
For a week.
For a week or a month or a year.
Oh, yes, baby. Bring it on.
It has a lifetime charge.
Yeah.
I mean, the phone, you replace the phone every year or two. The battery is good enough to last a year or two. I mean, that's the kind of, and it doesn't weigh half the weight of the phone.
Right, the weight of my 20,000 amp hour battery. That thing's more than I want to carry around with me. But I have one of those. If I'm sitting someplace, I can plug my phone into it.
So getting the size of the batteries, and of course, really all that, you can deal with the size, you can even deal with the weight. But to really get them adopted, they've got to be cheap. I've heard of somebody talk, they have to be as cheap as dirt. To solve the energy storage, because everybody's focusing on, how do I store energy for a day, or for tonight for my car, or tomorrow? Well, the next step is, how can I get through a bad week?
Right.
Okay, and then you can say, how can I get through a bad 3 weeks? That's good. But now, how do I get through a bad summer or a bad winter? How do I take the excess in summer and use it in the winter? And now you're really talking about long-term storage. And I don't know that batteries is the right answer for that, but some type of storage. And those are the kinds of storage problems that we need. And this research that Tesla is doing, that's at least focusing on the transportation, the mobile battery side of this, and somewhat stationary storage. Maybe it's not the seasonal storage. Maybe there's going to be other.
Right. Well, I know we'd like to not pay peak demand for those that pay for supercharging. If they put batteries at superchargers and off peak, they fill up, and then when you show up, you get that energy that was stored. That keeps the supercharging, or anybody, Electrify America's got batteries at some of their stations. It keeps the price down for people in electric cars because they don't have to pay those peak electricity rates.
Yeah, the peak power is like at commercials, like on a 30-minute window. Your entire power.
So the battery is going to help us transition to the next topic here. I heard Don say make a comparison between Tesla and Amazon yesterday, and I did clue him in a little bit on this one. Right.
Well, part of the outcome of the battery days, the stock went down, and and of course now it's rebounded very close. But the thing is, the reason it went down is that the Wall Street people were wanting some magic bullet. They want some glitzy little flashy thing. They don't understand the deeper meaning that Elon was trying. I think I told Andy, I think people missed that Elon's was not only trying to say what the problem was, but he was trying to point out the scale of the problem. I don't think people really understand how much batteries, what 20 terawatts of batteries looks like. They can't get their hands about how many batteries that's really going to be, and that's per year. So anyway, back to the stock. Amazon. So the stock went down because I think the people kind of misread what Elon said. Well, I think that the stock prices, a lot of people like, Berkshire Hathaway is never going to invest in Tesla because it's not the kind of bean counting company that Berkshire and other value investors do. Tesla is like Amazon. If I would have went to Berkshire Hathaway in 1995 and told
the board, the investors,
Mr. Buffett, I have a little internet company. I sell books on the internet, and I think by 2000, in 20 years, I'm going to be bigger than Walmart. And he would have laughed you. He wouldn't give you a dime. Nothing. He would not pay no.
Right. It's so the Walmart will crush them. Don't worry. Right. There's no worries.
And they're still not making any money. I mean, but the point is, Amazon has made no money or no real profits, and yet they're bigger than Walmart.
Yeah, and they keep on investing in themselves to get bigger and better, just like Tesla keeps on reinvesting in growth, the gigafactories.
And that's what you have to kind of put Tesla in that. If you're trying to look at, what do they call that, the old smokestack industries, car manufacturing, white good, that's, those are all dollar and cents built to a price point. The bean counters just love those because you can put it in a spreadsheet and push a button and it'll tell you if the stock's undervalued or overvalued. Well, there's no spreadsheet yet that you can put Tesla's numbers into, and it's going to come up with the right answer for Tesla, about Tesla. You basically, at this point, it's like Amazon. You're just going to have to take it on faith. So if you're not going to buy Tesla if you're a value investor. Totally understand it. It's going to be one of those opportunities you're going to miss. That's all it is. Just like the Googles and all these other things that have come along. The venture capitalists, they pick 100 losers and lose 100 times just to find the one Amazon, the one Google, the one Tesla.
Right.
Because it makes the upside is so much more than the downside.
Right. I agree with that. And it's not that the mighty can't fall.
Oh yeah.
But also once that machine gets started going up, we've had how many Tesla killers come along? Right. Purported Tesla killers in the last 2-3 years. We've had a lot. There have been a lot of those stories, and it's very hard to start the machine gets ramping up on the fast ramps, which I think Tesla is at the fast ramp stage right now with these gigafactories. So don't sell them short, I guess is my only point.
I got an email from a viewer, and he pointed out the EPA guy, head of the EPA on a radio show, just said that people don't really want electric cars, that people who are driving and owning electric cars today, I'm interpreting what he said.
Right.
Their next car, they're going to go back to ICE vehicles.
He is full of crap.
I said,
sorry.
I got a feeling he must be talking to people who own
first gen Leaf.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to knock the Leaf.
But then they all want Teslas now, or the bigger battery. Something.
I couldn't disagree more with that thinking, that an EV owner of an EV made in the last, even a Nissan Leaf from 2015.
Well, that car was so important to getting us to where we are today. The Leaf it still is for a commute, great car. And I mean, I'm not putting it down, but I'm just thinking that we've said before, cars that don't get much over 100 miles range may not be the ones that people are the most satisfied with, depending on their need, I guess.
Right. Well, this had to do with some talk about passing a law to stop ICE cars being sold in California by 2025. I said that's not going to happen. It's too quick. And I said,
I think it's 35.
Well, yeah, no, that's what the governor said.
Okay.
But what the EPA, the interviewer apparently asked, well, if it's 35, why don't you do it in 2025? And the guy said in California he didn't think it would pass. And I agree with the EPA guy. I don't think you could pass a law in a law. I didn't say an executive order. I don't think you can pass a law in California that says no ICE car sales by 2025. I don't think that's reasonable. But I think by 2030 you won't. You might could pass that law and say by 2030. But my feeling is there's no need, because it's going to be obvious. My thinking is the cost parity is almost there today. I mean, it's close. It just depends on, you have to do some fancy math and stuff. Well, by 2030, it's going to be be obvious. There's actually going to be a cost parity to owning, a cost advantage in 2030. So you won't need a law because they won't be able to sell the ICE cars in any significant volume. And then the second thing is by 2035, the only people who are going to have ICE cars are the people who have horses today, let's say. I don't know how many people, the Mennonites or somebody, I don't know what groups still use horses and buggies, but those are the people, because it's going to be such a disadvantage to own an ICE car. It's a law like that is not necessary.
Well, especially if Elon, in the next 5 years, we get the $25,000 Tesla instead of the $35,000 going on $40,000 Tesla. It opens it up to another large segment of people that don't feel like they're quite where they can get in on the EV thing yet. So if he follows through with that, and I think he was serious about it, I said that the other day, then, you know, and then other manufacturers too are looking, they're not all luxury like the e-tron that we drove in yesterday or the Taycan. They're not all luxury. That ID4 has a price point and is electric and is coming to America. So right, so we're going to have these options for getting in at a lower price that opens it up to even more people that already want to be in on it and are just waiting for the price to come down enough. So I certainly think that's possible.
And you know, and probably about the only thing it can really shift the time frame of anything here is things like the pandemic.
Well, the cost of gas, something happening to cause the gas price to go, because I guarantee you if we were sitting at $4.50 a gallon right now instead of just barely under $2 here in the Raleigh area, we're hovering 20 cents below $2 a gallon, something like that, people would be thinking about it more. Right now they can be complacent because A, we have enough gas for their car, and B, the price is not really hurting their pocketbook.
Right, but I think what's going to happen in a couple years, you're talking about the EV people not buying ICE cars, or that thought. The only way you're going to get an electric vehicle owner to buy an ICE car is the price of the ICE. It won't be a new. They're not going to buy a new ICE car, but it's possible that the prices of used 2-year-old used ICE cars could be so cheap.
Sure.
And you have and they have good needs. I mean, ICE cars can fill a need, and there's still infrastructure to support them. That it is almost ludicrous not to, you know, a car that sold for $150,000. I'll give you $1,500 for it.
Right. Well, this comes back to the what are you willing to do to make a difference?
But the key point I was trying to say, if ICE cars are used, late model ICE cars are so inexpensive, so cheap, how are you going to sell a brand new ICE car for $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 if I can buy a 2-year-old ICE car for 15 grand or some ridiculous? Because the technology is almost getting out of control. I mean, the screens, you know, basically once you have Apple iPlay or Android CarPlay or something, well, what do you need all these other apps? I just seem to use my phone. I'd rather learn my phone. I've said it before, I don't want my appliances to have all these knobs and switches. I just want me to have my phone control it all. And I don't want to pay for all these UI things. Well, that's the way I want to do my car. I want to get in my car. That phone knows where I want to go. All this stuff. It's great that the self-driving and all that stuff. But, you know, as far as this interaction with the car, I know this app, I like this app on my phone for my car stuff way better than I like the iPace app, the Jaguar app, the e-tron app, the Taycan. I don't want all those UIs all this money, even Tesla, even the money they're spending. I want a really good phone app that does it all. When I just
Don can't use his phone, so he's streaming.
Well, I understand, but why do you want everybody? It's just another cost point. In fact, I'm predicting Tesla's going to get rid of the screen. Tesla will be the first car company. You walk up to the car, and there ain't there's a LED to show you to turn on so you don't stub your toe getting in the car. But there's no screen anywhere. It's going to be on your phone.
I didn't work on the bottom floor this morning, but I did work on the second floor. I did some more of the trim around the windows and some of the downspout work, and the place in here where the stairs are. I installed the stairs. So I basically am at the point where I've done all I can do on this until I get a few more Lego pieces in the mail. And I actually need these L-shaped corner pieces that I don't have, and they're very important to the stability of this piece and keeping it together. So gonna probably be setting this aside and then starting to work on the third floor and up.
Okay, I took a look at the instructions and you know, remove the old toilet, cut off the water, flush it, things like that. So they did say to get a sponge and a bucket to mop out any excess water that's still in the old toilet. You know, clean the flange. So I've got some old rags that I don't care. I'm going to throw these rags away because the flange is made out of that wax and it will not come clean. I mean, you basically throw it away. I've learned to have some newspaper handy because that wax gets everywhere. It's better to scrape the wax off. So I've got this old putty knife, and the tank to the base on the old one, you have to loosen it. May need a adjustable wrench, and you know, just in case pliers, and of course the some type of something to wipe the floor and keep things clean, and obviously probably gloves would be a good idea.
Don sent me in to take a before picture, so this is the before picture. My contribution was pulling the rugs, putting them in the washer, and doing a quick floor and baseboard wipe down, which, you know, every bathroom needs. Well, that was no big deal getting it off. Just lift it up, sit it on the dolly, and wheel it on out.
Well, we're hoping we're going to let it drip for a bit while I clean up over here. Let me
move it.
Well, I was going to spin it. I don't want people to watch me make a big mess here, so I was going to try not to do this on video.
Do we really want a picture of that?
I don't know. It's, you know, business end of the toilet.
It is what it is.
Everybody's
got one.
Everybody's got it. Yeah, that's right, exactly. You have your 409 gloves and, you know, stuff is probably good. You get it, scrape it with the putty knife. At least my thinking is use the putty knife and the newspaper as much as you possibly can.
And then come in again.
And then come in with a rag.
Of course, I already wiped around there one time for him.
Yeah, she did good.
Right, Don's hunting new screws for the plate.
Yeah, the toilet joint, whatever that's called, I don't know. The screws that come up through here. I left the old ones. They gave me nice new metal
caps.
But these are too big for the existing ones, and of course these are actually what tighten it down. But I'm looking. There should be two like stainless steel screws. Maybe they're in this tank over here, but I don't see them anywhere. I should go look. Maybe there's instructions. Maybe they don't include those. I just assumed they did.
Wow, Donnie, it's starting to look real.
It's starting to look like a toilet, huh?
Yeah, Don said that in this bathroom, the toilet was a little too close to the wall. He had some issues with the one that was in here before, but this tank is actually seems to fit a little better.
I agree.
There's more clearance, not less. I was like, oh God, please don't let us have to return it because it won't fit.
Right.
Let there be water.
Yeah. Just put a little water and just check. I'm going to check. Most likely places to leak is between the tank
in the base.
And the base, that's right. But this is actually designed, even if it seeps around those bolts a little bit, there's cut out in the china a channel for the water to go into the bolt. So it won't leak on the floor. And maybe if it's a really bad leak.
Right, it shouldn't leak on the floor.
And also, obviously, around the bolt holes, the water can seep down around the bolt hole, so it may leak that way. But, you know, if it's just, you know, I guess the point is that they were thinking how they did this. And so at this point, I think we're good. I don't see no leaks yet.
I just set the lid in place and Dawn is putting the final touches on the seat. This has one of those soft close lids.
Yeah.
Which will last for a while.
Yeah, well,
So how long did it take you?
hour and 20 minutes.
He told me it would be less than 2 hours.
Yeah, and I fumbled around a little bit, having to find the
Bolts.
the bolts with that, and go back and double check my instructions a couple times. But yeah, I'm very pleased with the
Yeah, the
clearance
gap
back
there.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I
Show
guess
him the soft close lid, because everybody might not have a toilet that does that. I mean, we've had them
this
for a
has
while,
this
but
has a soft close.
so no banging the lid and scaring your family to death in the middle of the night.
That's right. And that came with the
Toilet.
toilet. And
Yeah.
we're gonna let Johnny do the honors over
Of the
here.
first flush.
Yep, here you go, the first flush.
All right, first flush.
That definitely works a lot better.
Oh yeah, look at that go. We found with the one in our bathroom that not only does it flush well, but it keeps the inside of the bowl really clean without a lot of maintenance by us. So,
Yep.
you happy?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. So step 3 is this 3rd floor, and there actually is a bedroom and stuff on it, so it's really 3 floors. And step 4 is the top 2 parts of this tower and the tower roof. And I guess right now I feel like working on the little tower. It's just a small rectangle. I did discover that I really don't have enough windows. This thing has so many windows in it. But I think I'm going to sit there and work on that for a little bit now. That shouldn't be too taxing. You know, for a Sunday night, we got a lot of stuff going on in the house. Our print server, Lenovo little mini computer, which has been running flawlessly for 7 years, it really wanted to put on a Windows 10 big update, and that caused Dawn to not to be able to remote into it and actually have to get in here with, this is not a laptop, this is a monitor keyboard thing you can hook up to a computer. Anyway, he's in here fussing with this. Johnny's refreshing, installing Windows 10 on this computer that he had apart the other day, and it's coming along okay.
So just an update. So now this computer, so this is the one that had an i3 4010U processor. That's an Intel, by the way, for less tech-savvy people. And right now I'm refreshing Windows using an SD card. Yes, you can do that. I didn't know that either until today.
Right, we thought you needed a thumb, but an SD will work. It needed, what, 8 gigabytes?
Yeah, just 8 gigabytes, but I don't even think it took that.
Yeah. So Dawn kind of gave Johnny some advice, and Johnny's following through with it.
And hopefully it'll work, because this machine, I managed to take it apart take both of them apart by myself and put the parts back together. It'd be wonderful I could actually get it to work.
Yep. And I got this little piece for one of the towers put together. I'm waiting on the same window trim pieces for it that I am for all the other windows. This is my favorite ice cream base, but this time I've got hazelnut cocoa spread and coffee. Very strong, not a lot of water, decaf granules. So I'm going to be making us some ice cream here too. So what's the verdict?
Oh, this is to die for. This is absolutely the best chocolate ice cream I've ever had.
Well, when you make ice cream with real whipping cream and you add in nut butter and egg yolk and
it's smooth and
it's
silky.
smooth. Yeah, there's no ice crystals in this. This is good. This is good stuff in it, and coffee's in there too.
Yeah, I can taste a little bit.
But the chocolate is the predominant.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way
to
cool.
die for. Sorry, guys.